Amidst the hospital setting, a plea echoed, "I want to live. I desperately want to live." The medical record appeared with the name Kim Yisak, along with a diagnosis of a rare, unprecedented disease. The doctor announced a grim truth. "This disease will probably be named after you." "My condolences," he continued while Kim Yisak froze, crumpling the paper in his hand. The death sentence was pronounced. "You have at most half a year left to live." Amidst the bustling crowd, Kim Yisak was like a lost soul, unable to believe what he had just heard. He exclaimed in shock, "No way!" The red light turned on and bitter thoughts flooded his mind. "My whole life, I've lived like a worker ant. My life had just started to look up, and now I'm going to die." He unconsciously stepped into the busy street. A passerby yelled in panic, "Hey, get out of the road! It's dangerous!" But it was too late. Kim Yisak collapsed onto the sidewalk. He let out a bitter sigh. To be told, "I only have a few months left to live. It's so unfair." The irony peaked as he looked at the lottery ticket in his hand, especially on the day I won the jackpot. Collapsing onto the cold ground, he whispered in despair, "I want to live. I don't want to die." Tears mixed with rain fell on the lottery ticket and he prayed, "Anyone, please." Then he screamed, pouring out his last ounce of strength, "Please save me from this death." His wish was granted, but not in the way he wanted. "Now in the form of a skeleton," he told himself. "I know I said that, but it doesn't mean I'm okay with this amidst a dark world," he lamented. "Why did it have to be a bald skeleton? With this body, I can't even enjoy anything." Immediately, a horde of grotesque monsters charged straight toward the solitary skeleton. Fiery red eyes and empty sockets gleamed, facing the first life-or-death challenge in his new life. "I'll kill them all," Kim Yisak roared, swinging his great sword and charging into the sea of enemies. The colossal blade was stained with fresh blood after each swing. Suddenly, he sensed danger and spun around with a weary gaze. A muscular monster roared, charging straight at him with razor-sharp claws, but it only received a lightning-fast strike to the face. Seizing the opportunity, Kim Yak soared up, plunging his blade into the monster's shoulder. Finally, he whispered, clenching his bony hand, "I can end this where I ch." Now, destructive energy gathered in his hand. "Die!" he commanded as the beast roared in despair. The last one. Kim Yisak tensed, preparing to deliver the finishing blow from above. A gruesome smile appeared on the king's skeletal face. The monster's agonizing scream echoed across the desolate battlefield. When the last enemy fell, a notification rang out. Annihilation of rebel forces complete. The story began when he reincarnated as a skeleton, a low-level summoned monster. From there, he evolved into an immortal lich, a ruler. "Oh, our king, the immortal king. He brought prosperity to the demons on the verge of extinction," he thought proudly. "I may not have hair, but at least I'm the great demon king." Zack, but his subordinates cheered ignorantly. "Long live our king, King Isizak. My name is Yisak." Kim Yisak snapped, then snapped his fingers. "You fools, goodbye." When asked where he was going, he replied coldly, "To reclaim what I'm owed. My ultimate goal is to be able to eat and feel pain by becoming human." After annihilating countless enemies and those who dared to challenge the divine, the Skeleton King finally confronted those who had given him his mission. He strode into the divine realm where the gods sat upon their thrones. Kim Yisak boldly declared, "I have handled everything. Now fulfill your promise to turn me human as per our agreement." A god muttered in astonishment, not expecting him to complete a task they thought would take at least 500 years. But Kim Yisak had heard whispers of a plot to exploit him. "I heard everything." He lost his patience, growling, "Why are you stalling? I've done everything you ask." The supreme god smiled meaningfully, suggesting, "Can you do one more thing for us?" Kimach gritted his teeth, realizing the harsh truth. "Do they think I'm as empty as this skull?" His eyes flared with furious red. "Do you bastards think I'm easy to bully? God or not, they will pay." Killing intent erupted, and he roared, "Hey, you bastards! You made me do all that without any way to turn me back into a human." Two goddesses panicked. One whispered. I think he realized. The other replied, "This is why I objected from the start." Amidst a sea of fiery red energy, Kim Yisak declared his immortality, an existence that even the divine realm had to fear. "If you bastards can't turn me human," the gods trembled, begging for more time, "promising to resolve a few more issues, then you will pay with your lives." Kim Yisak reached out, condemning the treacherous ones. He laughed maniacally, casting a curse. "It's time for all of you to turn into skulls like me." A wave of dark energy swept through, knocking the gods from their thrones. The Skeleton King gloated, observing the chaos he had created. But then he suddenly froze, staring in astonishment at his hand as a strange surge of power appeared. "What is this? My mana is disappearing, and I can't move." A voice echoed from the gods, full of contempt. "It's useless." The reddish brown-haired god raised a holy relic, a sneer on his face. Whoever's name is written here will be unable to move, no matter who they are. On the back of the magical centipede, ancient characters glowed menacingly. This is the highest grade holy relic. Calamity expulsion, the god declared. Now live like a bug, Kamach sneered. Couldn't you have chosen a hairy caterpillar or something? While the god scoffed. Why are you so obsessed with hair, you lowly creature? Suddenly, the holy relic in the god's hand erupted with intense light, astonishing him. You fools, Kim Yachok sneered, looking them defiantly in the eyes. I'd rather blow myself up than become a bug. He roared as destructive energy began to surge from his body. To the god's panic, he uttered his final curse. Eat! You bastards! A blinding explosion engulfed the skeleton king's body. The terrifying shockwave flattened a large area of the holy temple. Thrown back, a god exclaimed in disbelief. That bastard, did he self-destruct? Is he crazy? Amidst the rubble, two gods found the centipede, one asking anxiously, did the spell work? The reddish brown-haired god sighed in relief. I think the demon king's soul has been sealed. The other gods gathered, one saying, every time a demon king disappears, we grow stronger. The supreme god declared, I will create a perfect vessel in the mortal realm and destroy every demon there. Don't worry about me, he ordered. Choose a suitable soul to place into the saint's body. He coldly looked at the bug in his hand, thinking of the arrogant skeleton demon king. With a cruel smile, he swore, I will torment him like a bug for all eternity. Huh? My mind. I must have lost my mind. Tricked by those gods again. But why is it so bright? Do I not have hands to cover my eyes because I'm a bug? What? This warm and wet sensation? And why do I have hands? Is this a human body? Have I become human? Those bastards want me dead. Or did they mess up the seal? Suddenly a voice rang out. Oh my, your holiness, a woman exclaimed. The saint has opened his eyes, making him confused. Huh? The saint? The woman inquired. But the man beside her mumbled. It would be better if your holiness kept sleeping. Are they my nannies? Have I really become human? I guess there's no other way. The two nannies exchanged sinister smiles. Forgive us, your holiness. I know you just woke up, but we need you to go back to sleep forever. With a wicked smile, the man brought the milk bottle closer. Forgive me, your holiness, but I need to put you to eternal sleep. He didn't hesitate to forcefully press the milk bottle into the infant's mouth. But the baby, with the will of a demon king, resolutely turned his face away. The man panicked. Why aren't you eating? While Isaac thought to himself, no way am I eating that suspicious stuff. The nanny cooped. Young Master Isaac Tilda, a name which made Isaac freeze. He was stunned. That name, Isaac, he recalled his subordinates always mispronouncing his name as Isaac, and realized that perhaps the gods had misspelled his name in the sealing spell. That must be it. That's why I wasn't sealed, but reincarnated into another body with the same name. Isaac secretly scoffed at the foolish gods and roared in his mind. Now a small but powerful punch sent the milk bottle flying, making the man only able to utter a curse. The two nannies struggled to hold the infant, the man screaming in terror. No, help me. How can a baby be this strong? Forced to drink the disgusting vegetable juice, Isaac thought furiously. Are you trying to kill me with this garbage? I just barely became human. The baby's crimson eyes gleamed with vigilance as he sensed something unusual. He realized a dark aura was entering his body from the two assassins, disguised as nannies. Meanwhile, at the eastern central holy temple of the Hela Empire, an elderly bishop with a cunning expression strode through the marble-paved corridor. He smirked to himself. That baby must be on his way out by now. An authoritative voice spoke, interrupting his thoughts. You seem quite cheerful, Bishop. Emperor Alexander Heathcliff, Hela of the Holy Hela Empire, appeared with a regal demeanor. The bishop and his entourage quickly bowed. We greet the son of the empire. The emperor narrowed his eyes and asked, What business do you have here? The old bishop replied with a knowing smile. We are here to meet the saintest candidate of the Ashwa family. Alexander Heathcliff. Hela scoffed. You speak as if it's a burden to be present because she is the saintess. He continued, his voice full of implication. But it will be a big problem if something goes wrong again, just as the bishop was about to brush it off. A frantic scream echoed from afar, startling everyone. A maid rushed over, stammering the news. Young master, the young master is being. Hasty footsteps echoed rapidly down the corridor. The emperor kicked open the door, his face clearly showing worry. What happened to the young master? A maid turned back with an expression of utter horror. Young Master Alexander Heathcliff. Hella's confident expression completely vanished, replaced by extreme shock. Gasps of admiration rose at the child's plump and adorable appearance. Meanwhile, the bishop was stunned. No way! It drank all 15 bottles of that tasteless vegetable juice. Beside the crib was a pile of empty bottles, proof of his words. He growled in shock. That wasn't normal vegetable juice. A few minutes earlier, Kim Yisak had felt an unusual energy entering his body. The child realized with a start that this wasn't death, but something entirely different. A suspicious green liquid drop fell. That thing was called holy poison, a type of venom that destroys divine power and gradually accumulates in the body. However, this poison made from demonic magic was a perfect gift for a former demon king. In his previous skeleton form, he secretly cheered. To give a demon like me mana food like this? It's wonderful. The child immediately cried out for more, leaving the two nannies confused and bewildered. The male nanny sneered, confident that the poison hadn't taken effect immediately, and continued to feed the child. Kim Yisak gleefully enjoyed it, secretly praising this body's perfect mana absorption ability. After being fully charged with energy, the child turned his determined gaze to the next plane. He entered the unconscious world, diving deep into the depths of his mind. His goal was the source of everything. In this safe place, he would create his first mana core. The child focused, beginning to condense the magic power he had just absorbed. Surging energy was compressed into the forming magic orb. But then a sudden mana explosion occurred, shocking him. A mana core should be one of the three basic colors. What the hell is this? Inside his inner world, Kimmich was shocked by his mana core. So why is it white? He quickly realized, no, the color isn't the problem. How can there be so much power in such a small, not yet fully formed core? A triumphant smile spread across the child's face as he realized this terrifying potential. Truly, isn't this exceeding my expectations? The child gazed at the energy orb, wondering if I nurture it well. I could. He'd become a far greater monster than imagined. Suddenly, a name from his previous life came to his mind. Isaac. And with that name came the most primal desire that had shaped who he was. Survive. Memories flooded back. He recalled the utter despair that had given birth to the Skeleton King, and I was able to create special original buffs and skills. Kim Yisak realized a shocking truth. Those spells have been inherited by this body. Meanwhile, in the real world, the male nanny impatiently asked, "Is the kid dead yet?" The female nanny was ordered, "Check." After touching the child, she jumped back in shock while her accomplice shouted in horror, "Oh, wow, it's not dead yet." The child suddenly raised a finger, letting out a faint "gow" sound that made the two assassins freeze. Then the child grinned widely, demanding another bottle, even a stronger kind. A moment later, Emperor Alexander sighed in relief by the crib. Good thing nothing bad happened, but the accompanying bishop frowned, looking at the child with a scrutinizing gaze that made Kim Yisak secretly wary. The bishop's gaze swept to the floor where empty milk bottles were scattered, and his suspicion grew. Can't let them suspect me, Kim Yisak thought to himself, then flashed an angelic smile, dispelling all doubts. The bishop gritted his teeth, cursing inwardly. What the hell is wrong with this brat? It should have been injured and coughing up blood, dying. But instead it was. The bishop was utterly horrified when he realized the infant was laughing gleefully. A few days earlier, at the Holy See, a voice echoed, "Whoever becomes a saint will own the entire empire." How ridiculous, Cardinal Harry Barrett scoffed. That's why those low-ranking nobles keep insisting their children are saints, the bishop reported. Please don't worry, we are dealing with the other candidates, Hooray Bit replied. Good, very good, the bishop continued. By the way, I've heard a not-so-good rumor. They say a saint candidate has appeared from House Ha, he said, causing her bare eyes to flash with murderous intent. The bishop worried. House Ha, the emperor's right hand. We can't do anything to them. High Barrett angrily dropped the golden cup to the floor. He coldly declared, "Perhaps it's already dead before you even get there. You just need to confirm the corpse. I've already acted to ensure its death. A saint can only come from my house." Barrett smirked evilly, ending the flashback. Back in the present, the bishop trembled. I was told the child would die. So why is it still alive? This can't be happening, he screamed silently. Just then, Emperor Alexander entered. How interesting. What's shiny platinum hair? Alexander turned to the bishop. The founder of our empire also had this hair color. Don't you think so, Bishop? Kim Yisak widened his eyes in realization. So, this is the emperor? Alexander smiled smugly, thinking to himself. He looks even closer to God than the current pope. He must be the last saint candidate. That thought stunned Kim Yak. What? This child is a saint candidate. Damn it. The emperor is starting to favor that child, the bishop thought to himself. I can't let this happen. He immediately stepped forward and bowed. Your Majesty, please allow me to examine the child, Emperor Alexander asked indifferently. Why? What's wrong? The bishop asserted. There's something unusual. An infant cannot drink all that vegetable juice. Alexander merely shrugged. What's strange about a saint candidate eating vegetables? Kim Yachok sighed in exasperation. How can I, a demon king, be a saint candidate? The bishop still didn't give up. I still find it strange. Please allow me to examine him. Suddenly, a dark stream of demonic energy leaked from the child's tender body. The demonic energy I couldn't fully digest. Kim Yisak realized his fatal mistake in shock. The child's inner thoughts screamed in panic. Have I been exposed? The bishop's hand slowly approached, filling Kim Yakok with extreme dread. Your Majesty, he said with a serious expression, I just sensed demonic energy from this child. A sinister smile spread across the bishop's lips. How strange, wouldn't you say? Kim Yisak could only curse inwardly. This bastard. The child broke out in a cold sweat, his heart pounding. Did he realize it? The bishop had a plan. This child could be a fake candidate. I must have an inquisitor investigate him immediately. Emperor Alexander immediately objected. How dare you? You're talking about a saint candidate. But the bishop played his trump card. The pope has already chosen the child from the Barrett family as the saint. Alexander thought angrily. How shameless. Meanwhile, Kim Yi-sak understood everything. So he's trying to eliminate me. In that case, Kim Yak stirred slightly, preparing for the confrontation. The bishop lifted him up and smugly ordered, I order the priest to invite an inquisitor here. Wait. A decisive hand was raised, stopping his action. Emperor Alexander intervened with his authority. The Asura family is the closest ally of the imperial family. I suggest you reevaluate the child another day. Suppressed by the emperor's authority, the bishop reluctantly bowed. I understand, Your Majesty. The bishop smiled meaningfully. By the way, I've spoken with His Holiness the Pope. Emperor Alexander frowned upon hearing the news that the crown prince's investiture ceremony would be postponed until a saint was chosen. He realized this was a political ploy. The church would not recognize his son unless he accepted their choice. Kim Yak, eavesdropping, cursed inwardly. Is this the Holy See's intention? You petty bastards, the child thought to himself. Honestly, I don't want to be a saint candidate anymore. It's too risky. My true identity could be exposed, the cunning bishop suggested. Otherwise, we could examine the child right now. Clenching his fists, Kim Yusak decided, all right, if it's truly human, it won't be harmed, the bishop confidently declared. But before he could finish, he was struck squarely in the face as he was about to say, and if it's a demon, it will be destroyed. The bishop was stunned, blood gushing from his mouth in utter disbelief. The culprit, Kim Yisak, wore a satisfied smile with his finger stained with the enemy's blood. The child raised his weapon, challenging inwardly. You arrogant bastard, I'll play with you, Arga. The old man clutched his swollen cheek, unable to believe. How could a simple baby bottle hurt so much? At that moment, the surrounding people exclaimed in astonishment, That light? Could it be divine power? The child is truly a saint. Kim Yisak, with a look of delight, forcefully swung the brightly glowing bottle. The child attacked while babbling meaningless sounds, but in his mind it was, Let's see what you can do, you bastard. Relentless blows rained down, creating dazzling streaks of golden light. Struck by the blows, the bishop realized in shock, this is definitely mana. Witnessing the scene, Emperor Alexander couldn't hide his joy. What a brilliant light. Kim Yachok prepared for the final blow, thinking to himself, I'll empower the bottle with magic and give him the finishing strike while still pretending to be an innocent child. This brat, what is this? The bishop growled while everyone else mistakenly thought he was marveling at the divine power. What's this? Kim Yizak realized that whenever he used demonic energy, he also felt a faint stream of divine power. He deduced demonic energy and divine power are inherently incompatible. It must be because of that white demonic energy core. The old bishop was drenched in sweat, his face contorted in extreme pain. Unable to bear it any longer, he threw the bottle away and shouted loudly in front of the emperor. I swear this child is a heretic. Exorcism magic must be used immediately. The bishop's suggestion was met only with a contemptuous gaze and the thought, You slimy scum, gagu! The child babbled, thinking to himself, I didn't intend to go this far, but whatever. The small hand touched the bishop's chest, and a dark purple stream of evil energy was immediately detected. Oh, he's hiding something quite interesting here. Kim Yashok pulled out a shriveled demonic hand wrapped in bandages and wearing a golden rosary. The bishop froze, cold sweat pouring down as his secret was exposed. He realized in horror that it was his totem, a sealed Heil demon corpse used to absorb demonic energy. How does this child know about my totem? His desperate question was met only with Kim Yisak's eerie grin. The bishop's face contorted in extreme terror. He turned to flee, but the demonic hand was suddenly yanked backward. Look closely, you bastard, the child warned in his mind. This is all because you kept bothering me. This is the consequence of your actions. A surge of pitch-black demonic energy erupted from the totem, and then a snap of fingers echoed. Arg! A demonic monster! How can this be? The bishop's desperate scream rang out as a colossal shadow rose. Defend yourself now! Kimach chuckled gleefully. You filthy amateur! Both the emperor and his retinue were stunned by the creature that had just been summoned. How is a dark lich here? Emperor Alexander roared furiously. Bishop Martha Barite, how dare you let a demon run wild in the temple? The old bishop frantically denied. It was the baby. It threw the totem. How could a sealed object come back to life? All troops, Alexander commanded. Protect the young master from the demon beast and that wicked bishop. A guard swiftly snatched Kim Yisak from the stunned bishop's hands. Kim Yisak secretly sneered. Fool, you've been tricked. The shadow lich appeared amidst the encirclement, making Kim Yachok curious. Let's see how capable this bishop is. But the shadow creature only whispered a single command. Kill. Kill. Then it roared, its target clear. Kill the saint. Kimich was dumbfounded, unable to believe he was the target of his own summoned minion. The lich charged straight towards the baby, forcing the guard to hold him tightly in terror. The other knights immediately rushed forward, determined to protect the young master at all costs. The confused guard shouted, I saved it! Why is it trying to attack me? Kimach closed his eyes, calmly calculating. Anyway, the knights will protect me, he confidently thought, just as a knight was sent flying. But when the helmet fell off to reveal a skeleton, the guard realized in horror, he's actually a knight. Meanwhile, the lich continued to shriek, Kill the saint! While another group of demons shouted, Save the captured king! Skim Yach sighed as the guard stumbled. I guess I'll have to subdue it myself first. His glowing red eyes flashed. No one will realize I'm using magic in this situation. Die, the lich charged, making the baby inwardly lament. Why does everyone want to kill me in this life? Kim Yach glared at it, his gaze sharp. Trying to kill me when I'm the one who resurrected you in the form of a child. Kimach's glowing red eyes reflected the wrath of a king. His true nature roared in his mind. You foolish demons. The shadow lich trembled, recognizing the terrifying entity before it. The skeleton king. Returning to reality, Kim Yisok could only stare blankly. Huh? A brilliant stream of holy light suddenly burst from the baby's body, repelling the shadow creature. Emperor Alexander and his guards were stunned by the unbelievable sight. The lich shrieked in pain as it was incinerated by the pure light. Its dark body began to disintegrate under the divine power. A guard shouted in panic as the monster turned and fled. It's escaping, excited whispers arose. That's definitely holy power. Young Master Isaac drove away a great demon. Amidst the praises, an official picked up the baby, proudly declaring just as expected from the young master. Kim Yisak looked at his hands in confusion, wondering, what is this? This is really holy power? The baby suddenly realized a serious problem. Huh? I'm out of mana. A horrifying hypothesis flashed. Could it be? This body is converting my mana into holy power. While Kim Yisak was panicking, the captured bishop still frantically shrieked. Let me go, you fools, he pointed at the child, accusing. That baby is a heretic. How dare you crawl into the holy nation? The bishop turned to beg the emperor. Your Majesty, I will prove it. I will expose him with an exorcism. But Emperor Alexander coldly interrupted. Enough, bishop. Do you dare accuse a saint candidate? His gaze was sharp as a knife. I will absolutely not overlook this matter. The bishop froze as the emperor concluded. Even if you come from the Holy See, cornered, the bishop gritted his teeth. If the emperor suspects, they will soon discover the intruder. Kneeling on the floor, he despaired. Even if I die, I must save my family. His eyes flashed with cruelty, he had decided. That's why. A gigantic holy power wolf spirit beast roared as he shouted. At least I must kill the family saint candidate. The glowing golden beast charged straight towards the emperor and the infant in his arms. Emperor Alexander growled. This bastard, he's finally shown his true colors? Kim Isak inwardly thought with disdain. Does he really think he can kill me with this? But just as the baby was about to act, a harsh truth dawned. Huh? Wait, the raging wolf reflected in his panicked eyes. Have no mana left at all. Suddenly, a stream of icy blue energy tore through the air. The wolf spirit beast roared in pain as it was completely subdued by the mysterious power. An icy voice echoed from the shadows. Who dares lay a hand on a direct descendant of Ashwa? Blue robes fluttering. A dignified figure stepped out from the cold mist. The emperor exclaimed in surprise, The Blue Faith. It's the Ashwa Knights. The silver-haired man advanced coldly, his aura overwhelming. It was the Ashwa family's seventh son, Relihua. Without a moment's hesitation, Reli pointed at the attacker. Execute the bishop immediately. When handed to a soldier, Kim Isak struggled. Let me go. Don't touch me with the Ashwa family's filthy hands. Then he froze. Wait, Ashwa. Reli picked up the child sternly, saying, Behave yourself. While inwardly thinking the name sounded familiar, the entire Ashwa Knights knelt in unison, shouting, Greetings, young master of the Ashishawa family, relied to the child. Apologies for being late, Isaac, making the nearby officials secretly admire their authority. Reli smiled and introduced, It's nothing much, but we've brought a small gift for you. A knight peered in curiously, secretly wondering if it was a glittering gold bar. The knight gleefully showed off the gift. This is a model of the beheaded skeleton king. While Isaac was speechless, a series of other versions were displayed. The skeleton king burned alive, then crushed by the saints, leaving Isaac stunned. So cute. The knight teared up, moved by the boy's reaction. Isaac's inner self screamed, How am I going to survive this? While outside, the knights cheered. He likes it so much he's crying, helpless in the adult's arms. Isaac could only sigh wearily. How am I going to survive in this crazy family? Suddenly, the boy's red eyes flashed with realization as he mumbled the name. Wait, Joshua, Eshua. Memories flooded back. The image of the saints who had come to finish him off appeared vividly. He recalled the declaration of war from the 45th generation saints. Noah. Then came the roar of the 61st generation saints. Oxawa, upon realizing all his sworn enemies, bore the Eshua name. Isaac panicked. Damn it! Did I reincarnate into the saints' family? What karma did I create in my previous life? The boy cursed inwardly while Reli gazed coldly forward. An old bishop suddenly caused a commotion, yelling, I know you are heretics. Where did you bring that creature from? He pointed at Isaac, frantically shouting, I will expose the identity of that thing. The Eshua family is insane. The bishop screamed, completely unaware that Rai had silently drawn his sword. His final curse was cut short. It will end the Eshua bloodline. A cold and decisive sword stroke silenced the bishop forever. Riley coldly sheathed his sword, saying to the fallen man, Be grateful for his mercy that spared your neck. Isaac smirked inwardly. Oh, he beheads people just for daring to insult his family. He's got some guts. An Ehwa knight tried to soothe Isaac. Young masters should only hear good things, while Isaac inwardly cursed them as lunatics. Looking at the skeleton toy, Isaac suddenly remembered the Blue family. They're quite strong. The knight even sang a gruesome nursery rhyme, making Isaac admit that his subordinates from back then hadn't exaggerated at all. Meanwhile, Emperor Alexander approached and said, It seems I owe the boy a debt. The emperor looked directly at Reli and made a shocking offer. Tell your family head that the imperial palace wishes to raise this child. Reli responded stunned. Your Majesty, you jest. While Isaac gleefully thought, Oh, am I about to be recruited by the imperial palace? Alexander explained. The holy nation will target the boy. And no matter how strong is, will the current blue faith be strong enough to protect this child? The emperor's question hung in the air. He continued to outline the dangers, especially the Pope's opposition, because Isaac's hair color was a symbol of the holy nation's ancestor. Furthermore, the skeleton king seems to be hunting it. The emperor's words left Isaac dumbfounded. What? I'm the Skeleton King. Why would I hunt myself? An official firmly refused. Your Majesty, this child carries Ashwa blood, so he must be raised by the Ashwa family. Reli took Isaac, declaring boldly, whether it's the Pope or the Skeleton King, Ashwa can handle it. The emperor smirked. If she could meet the Skeleton King again, the former Saint Melissa would surely be delighted. That name stunned Isaac, while Rhea asserted, how can I hand over Saint Tess Melissa's direct descendant to the imperial palace? Memories flooded back. Isaac realized in horror. Melissa was the craziest, most formidable saint I faced before reaching the divine realm. The ironic truth dealt a fatal blow. I'm Melissa's direct descendant. Why is my life like this? So, what exactly is a saintess? They are the ultimate weapons created by the gods after countless failures against the Skeleton King. They are the light of the holy nation, symbols of the battlefield, believed to bring about the Skeleton King's demise. But the truth is different because the Skeleton King is one who knows nothing of mercy. In the Skeleton King's memories, he had never laid a hand on any saints, as doing so would only be a disadvantage, allowing the gods to send down a stronger successor. The boy was stunned by a harsh truth. Saint Tess Melissa, the most formidable enemy he had ever faced, was his own ancestor. Relihua smiled, completely unaware that the child in his arms was the very enemy the saints had sworn to destroy. Emperor Alexander merely listened in silence as Reli affirmed the Eshwa family's pride and protective capabilities. A young knight interjected, recounting the martyred saints, making Isaac silently scream, I didn't kill anyone. The baseless rumors continued to be fabricated, and Isaac could only helplessly refute them in his mind. It's all right, Reli gently comforted, but Isaac was struggling in despair. I'm not all right at all, the man lifted the boy, affectionately declaring. We are very grateful that you were born, and we have only one wish. Just don't grow up to be like that terrible Skeleton King, a blessing that was a fatal stab. Those words were like a curse, making the image of the brutal skeleton from the past haunt Isaac's innocent mind. The boy could only secretly apologize to the fathers and mothers he had never known. I'm sorry for being a bad person. Alexander continued the negotiation, mentioning that 150 years had passed, making Isaac calculate that Melissa should have died of old age long ago. The emperor emphasized the growing threat from the demon race, and the child carrying holy blood was a precious asset for the entire empire. Furthermore, Ashura currently has no saints. Alexander delivered the decisive blow. The boy's mother disappeared a year ago. A lightning bolt struck Isaac, leaving him dumbfounded by the unbelievable truth. My mother is a saintess. Ree quickly reassured him that the family's matriarch was still alive while Isaac tried to sort out the chaotic information in his head. But the next name uttered was a nightmare. Lady Melissa will return soon. Alexander scoffed at Melissa's extraordinary lifespan, while Isaac was aghast, realizing his greatest enemy was still alive and well. Fear enveloped the boy because, more than anyone, he knew how dangerous Melissa was, and then to survive, that tiny hand made a choice. It grasped the emperor's finger. Kim Yisak used all his acting skills, blinking cutely. Please take me with you, which melted Emperor Alexander's heart. The triumphant emperor turned to Reli. See, the boy wants to come to the imperial palace too? While Reli merely insisted, he's just clinging to people, your majesty. Alexander continued his attack. Huzha might be good at producing saintesses, but when it comes to raising a saint, you're all rookie. Reli refused to back down. He's the first saint. I doubt your imperial palace has any experience with that. The argument turned into a childish tug of war, causing the subordinates to cry out in panic. The young master's about to be torn in half. On the brink of life and death, Kim Yazak screamed internally. I want to go to the imperial palace. I don't want to die. And then the boy felt it. A warm stream of light, the source of life, was emanating from the emperor himself. This was the true path to survival. I can't miss this chance, the boy decided, and the emperor smiled as if he had heard. A wise choice, young master. But at the same time, a chill suddenly rose in Kim Yakok's heart. Elsewhere, under the cold moonlight, the failed bishop was kneeling and pleading. I am innocent. He tried to justify himself. That thing used mana. It's definitely a demonic product. An icy voice echoed from the shadows. Are you saying the gods bestowed divine power upon a lowly demon? The old bishop desperately cried out, but that was definitely mana, as a sword was held to his face. The mysterious leader slowly pronounced the holy sea call such words. A sword flashed, cutting short the bishop's last desperate plea. With blood splattered on his face, the cardinal coldly concluded, "Blasphemy." Brushing aside his predecessor's failure, he ordered, "No need for a new assassination squad. The emperor will take the child. Just wait for the opportune moment at the imperial palace." Back in the warm room, Kim Isak suddenly shivered, sensing a deadly threat awaiting him ahead. In the darkness of a forest, a group of black-robed priests gathered, plotting a sinister scheme. The leader coldly ordered, "The child will be taken by the emperor anyway, so we will target him at the imperial palace." From afar, their cruel thoughts seemed to reach Kim Yisak. This time, he won't survive. The morning sun heralded the start of a new journey. Lying in his crib, Kim Yisak recalled his momentous decision. "Right now, I am going to Eshwa," he concluded, while his loyal undead army wailed in despair. But why? A few days prior, an unusual light erupted in the room, terrifying those who witnessed it. Emperor Alexander was stunned as holy light emanated from the child he was holding. While an official asserted that the Ashua household was not a good place, Rewa faced the emperor, sneering, "Perhaps you think we only harbor manacores and demon corpses," which made the emperor realize it was the source of survival. Re played his trump card. "The most precious thing we possess is the skeleton king's body." Kim Yusak was dumbfounded, screaming in his mind, "My body, you have it." Taking his tiny hand, relied, unaware of the child's thoughts. "You should have said that from the beginning." Suddenly, Kim Yusak decisively pointed straight at Reilly, babbling, "Gaga!" With his brightest smile, the boy concluded, "Let's go to Eswa." Relly, the iron-willed man, completely melted at the cuteness, stammering his name. Isaac, back in the present on the carriage, Kim Yisak accepted the trade-off. "I have to give up the imperial palace, but there's no other way to reclaim my old body." He recalled his terrifying power, a body forged with mana strong enough to contend with even gods. He realized that the source of survival had told him that following Reilly was the only way to live. And Ashua Knight asked, "Why are the Holy Sea's forces still targeting the young master?" A question Kim Isak himself was wondering. Reilly revealed a shocking secret. Because the gods have bestowed a prophecy that the saint will be adopted as a child of a god. Kim Yisak was dumbfounded. What the hell is going on here? Upon learning the saint would become the pope, it was a position of absolute power, king of priests and holy knights. On par with even the emperor, the Barrett household, which had monopolized the papacy, was now threatened, sparking a fierce power struggle. Inside the luxurious carriage, their journey continued peacefully. Suddenly, an attendant frantically reported, "Young Master Rai, we have arrived at the Dushu, but we've encountered a problem." At the city gate, a squad of guards was already waiting, blocking their path. The captain coldly declared, "Apologies, but you will not be permitted to enter the Duce." Reliha raged. "How dare you? Do you not recognize the Eshua household's emblem?" The guard bared his teeth in a sinister grin. "Of course, we won't let you in." Darkness surged, and demonic entities materialized with surging, killing intent. Their target was the child bearing the Saint Hessa's bloodline. Demons? Kimak was aghast. I forbade attacking human territory. Could it be because of the new demon king? A demon general appeared roaring. "Our king has ordered the killing of all saints and saints." He continued under the command of the great skeleton king. "Lord Asizak, we will kill that saint." Kim Yachok screamed in silent fury. "When did I tell you to do that, you bastards?" A blue lightning bolt tore through the air, obliterating a demon in the blink of an eye. The demon general roared in astonishment at Reali's appearance. You despicable holy knight," Reali retorted with eyes sharp as knives. "How dare you speak such nonsense in front of Asua of exorcism? You won't die easily. Listen closely." He placed his hand on his sword hilt, and holy light began to converge. "For the purpose of protecting all, Ashua will eradicate all evil." Reilly unleashed his power, vowing to hunt down and kill the demons to the very depths of hell. Reilly sneered contemptuously. Truly an evil skeleton king, sending his subordinates to their deaths just to escape a mortal fate. The demons roared in indignation at those words, one charging forward and yelling, "How dare you, foolish humans!" The entire horde of demons shouted in unison, ready to die for their faith. "Do not insult skeleton king Isaac. All for the resurrection of Lord Isaac." Meanwhile, an Eshwa family knight drew his sword, ready to engage in battle to protect the carriage behind him. He was thrown back by an explosion, hastily clutching the young master to his chest. "Forgive me, young master." Scooped up, Kim Yisak screamed in his mind, What the hell is going on? Who's impersonating me? The loyal knight carried the boy and ran into a sparse forest, seeking temporary shelter. He gently placed Kim Yisak on the ground and said, "Please wait here for a moment." A magic circle glowed, enveloping the boy, making Kim Yisak wonder. A protective barrier. The boy touched the barrier, silently acknowledging. Even high-ranking demons couldn't break this. Quite impressive. But then a thought flashed through Kim Yusak's mind. The fact that nothing from the outside can enter also means nothing from the inside can escape. The boy closed his eyes, deciding to seize the opportunity. Then Source of Survival activate. Release magic. Amidst the ethereal cosmic space, the boy began to summon. Heed my call. You who are both magic and life, whispered the observer. A shadowy entity with a sinister grin and glowing red eyes slowly materialized. It cheered joyfully. "Ah, great lord, my master." "But Kim Yi," Sek interrupted. "Long time no see. Be quiet or well be discovered." Hovering inside the barrier, the shadowy entity couldn't hide its excitement. "I truly thought I would never see you again." "Great one. Long time no see." "Whisper," Kimak explained. "This is the sentient detection magic I created because I was too lazy to maintain detection magic during battle." Whisper flattered. "Your wickedness is as ever, my lord. I congratulate you on mercilessly seizing the body of an infant," which left Kim Yi-sok speechless. "Hey, this guy." It then turned angry. "But those filthy gods dared to lay a hand on you." Kim Yi-sok immediately ordered, "Enough! Search for enemies." Whisperer's red eyes flashed, beginning to execute the command. "Initiating enemy detection from above," Whisper reported. In its current state, the detection radius is 100 meters, it quickly identified. There are a total of 88 enemies, all demons, but they won't lay a finger on you. Meanwhile, a masked demon secretly calculated, if security here increases, it will be troublesome. I must deal with them myself before the Ishua family discovers us. From within the barrier, Kimisak resolved, even if I have to use all my stored mana, I must deal with them. But then Whisper suddenly paused. Huh? Current enemy count 51. Kimisak was astonished as the number continued to drop to 31. What? Why? It turned out that Relly and his knights were sweeping through the demons. A knight shouted, "Young lord, something is approaching." Relly immediately ordered, "Form a defensive formation." The masked demons were overwhelmed with only 4 remaining. One of them joyfully yelled, "You finally arrived, comrade." A vampire-like demon appeared, calling out, "Cooperate with us." He declared their objective. "Today we will kill that saint," which made Whisper, who was observing, pay attention to the word saint. Suddenly, a wave of purple energy swept through, annihilating the remaining demons as they screamed, "Glory to the Skeleton King!" A knight of the Eshua family was terrified by the dark power that had just appeared. Whisper reported the new situation to its master. "There are no enemy forces left. I have detected a shadow lich." The colossal shadow entity appeared before the knights. It roared a deadly threat. "You who dare to lay your filthy hands on my king, pay with your lives." Hearing that, Kim Ah-sok inside the barrier could only scream in panic. What the hell is wrong with this guy? The shadow lich's crimson eyes glowed, repeating its curse. Young Isaac still couldn't understand what was happening. The lich continued its furious monologue. "My king, my only master, how dare you imprison him inside the body of an inferior child?" Its loyalty had twisted into a distorted attachment due to its liberation. The phantom roared a deadly warning. "Don't look at him with your filthy eyes or I'll gouge them out." Relied, unable to understand its language. Inside the barrier, Kamach grumbled to himself. "Damn it, what a mess. This guy recognized me as the Skeleton King." Relly immediately ordered, "Knights, prepare for battle." While Kim Yi-sak still grumbled about his subordinate's sudden appearance, Kimach babbled a command, intending to say, "Hey, don't touch my food," which made a knight realize in horror that the baby was a massive source of mana. The knight tried to reassure him, "Young Master Isaac, please be patient. We'll deal with this quickly," but only received the demon's eerie laughter in return. In its ecstasy at being acknowledged by its master, the lich exuded killing intent, making the knight frantically shout, "Young Lord Rayleigh, the demon has ill intentions. I will come to your side, my master." The lich roared, darting past the defending knights. Relihua was stunned, realizing its target. "That worm is heading towards Isaac." The lich screamed at the knights. "You filthy holy knights! How dare you imprison my master in that bubble?" While Kimisak gloated, having attracted its attention. I can't let this mana reserve be destroyed, Kim Yisak resolved, babbling a command. Break this barrier. Immediately the lich obeyed. Yes, master, and swung its shadow scythe. A full force attack struck, and the magical barrier shattered with a roar. As you wish. The knights could only scream in despair as their young master's protective shield was destroyed. Free. Kim Yisak patted his subordinate, babbling a compliment. Well done. Then he ordered, now stop causing trouble and rest, which left the lich stunned and utterly confused. Master. The lich stammered, not understanding what was happening. Kimmach unleashed his power, forcing the lich to shrink with a desperate scream. Why, yeah, Relly dumbfounded, unable to believe his eyes. The boy just turned a demon into a totem, he exclaimed in horror, staring at the infant sitting next to the petrified demonic hand. A knight cheered in sheer excitement, turning a demon into a totem in an instant. Isn't the boy amazing? The entire squad of Azure Knights cheered for the child while Kimmach secretly thought, I didn't use holy magic. That was magic. Reliable, but another knight cheerfully interjected. In times of crisis, people often shine brightest. He continued to deduce that the demon had sensed a threat from the young master, which was why it charged straight to attack. The knight commander picked up the child, asserting to Relly, the young master is definitely a saint. Relly dismissed the flattery, but had to admit whether he's a saint or not, this child is very special. He gritted his teeth, his biggest concern emerging. But why does it have to be a boy? Thinking of the Skeleton King's curse, Relly suddenly clenched his fist, his eyes flashing with determination. I've made my decision, the knight commander solemnly swore. As commander of the Azure Knights, I will protect young Master Isaac, the future of the Eshwa family. Relied silently, as if the oath further solidified his decision. He spoke softly, as if admitting to himself, I understand now. It seems I've been too foolish. Fearing the Skeleton King's curse, while this child will elevate the family's reputation, his hand reached out toward the boy. Relly lifted Kim Yisak, a radiant smile on his face. Let's go home, Isaac. As your uncle, I will teach you many things. I will raise you to be a great holy knight, he promised, unaware that his nephew was thinking, just give me back my body. As Relly swore to find a way to save him from a short life, Kim Yisak froze. What? Ray joyfully tossed him up, thinking Isaac's panicked screams were an expression of delight. Once we're home, the first thing I'll teach you is how to curse the Skeleton King, Relly said excitedly, leaving Kim Yisak speechless. F's K, this Eshwa family. Soon the carriage entered the magnificent Eshwa ducal manor grounds. Exquisite art statues were placed everywhere, showcasing the family's wealth and power. Even someone who was once a king like Kim Yisak had to secretly marvel at this extravagance. Wow! Kim Yisak looked out the carriage window, enraged by the Asura family's wealth. His anger flared as he recalled his impoverished past, having to scrimp and save every bit to feed his starving subordinate. Whisper appeared, marveling at the extravagance. But Kim Yisak grumbled, telling it to shut up. In Relia's arms, the boy was introduced to the mansion, the birthplace of the continent's exorcism magic. Relly pointed to the training ground, proudly saying, Look, the sight that met Kimmach's eyes was knights training with a Skeleton King dummy. The dummy was pierced by spears amidst shouts of hatred. The knights attacked frantically, cursing the family's sworn enemy. While Ree smiled contentedly, Kim Yisak thought in horror, it's like a fanatical cult. The boy tried to reassure himself, thinking this wouldn't affect his grand plan. Whisper teased again, but Kimmach coldly ordered it to continue scouting. The shadow entity happily obeyed, vanishing into thin air. The full view of the Eshwa mansion appeared, grand and magnificent to an overwhelming degree. Both Kimmach and Whisper were stunned by the thousands of mana cores used as decoration. The royal carriage finally stopped in front of the mansion. Relly stepped down, ordering a servant to prepare a room for Isaac to stay with him, but met with hesitation. The butler respectfully announced that he had orders to take young Master Isaac to the annex. He nervously explained that this was the 5th young master's order, forbidding Isaac from entering the main building. Relly grew furious, hugging the child tightly. You want to send Isaac to that cursed place? He clenched his fist, despising his brother's antics, while Kim Yisak secretly agreed that he didn't belong there. Whisper whispered, reminding its master of the true objective. The mana cores are in that annex. Get out of the way. Relied. I won't let my nephew stay in that haunted house. While Isaac screamed internally, No, I need to go there. Relly continued his plan, promising to read stories about the saint slaying the Skeleton King, making Isaac horrified. Are you trying to exorcise me? An arrogant voice rang out from above. You picked up a filthy bug, and now it's causing a commotion. The newcomer's face revealed a sneer. I already ordered the brat to be sent to the annex. The man Goal Ashawa, the fifth son of the family, questioned. Long time no see, and the first thing you do is defy your elder brother. Isaac could only look up, stunned by the appearance of a new nuisance. Amidst the brothers' tense confrontation, Isaac cursed internally. What a bastard, Goal ordered contemptuously. Put that thing down. Let me send it to the annex. Ray flared up. Are you serious? This child is of the direct lineage. Sending him there is no different from exiling him. Despite Isaac's internal protests, Riley was resolute. Get out of the way. I'll perform the Skeleton King exorcism ritual for him in my room. Goal squeezed Isaac's cheek, scoffing. Huh? You brought back a bone even filthier than the Skeleton King? He leaned in close, his tone full of malice. And you're still talking about direct lineage? Making Isaac wonder if this was a priest or a thug? Ray pulled Isaac back, his eyes sharp. Do you think I don't know why you want to send the boy to the annex? The accusation was hurled. You're trying to turn him into a cursed child to eliminate him from the succession race, leaving Isaac stunned. His grand plan threatened. Isaac gritted his teeth. Being eliminated is a huge problem. I need to drain this mansion dry to get revenge on those damn gods. Gaul chuckled. He's already cursed, isn't he? Demons have appeared to take him. After all, a blonde knight stepped forward to retort. That's because the young master is important. He possesses the divine power of a saint. Oh, how touching. Glee sneered. All of you are eager to cover up this disgusting trash, he challenged. If you think he's a saint, then let him show his skills, while Whisper whispered into a panicking Isaac's ear. How about summoning a meteor? Gaul smirked. Right. If he's a saint, he pointed into the distance. Then what about that? Gaul pointed at a withered tree. Save that family symbol or whatever, the tree that the family head cherishes so much. With a sinister smile, he explained, that's a divine tree that died after being infected with demonic essence. If he has the aptitude to be a saint, hell easily revives something like that, Riley asked in shock. Are you serious? While Goal secretly scoffed, good heavens, Melissa. You fought well, but your descendants are all ruined. Kimmick flinched when he overheard Gaul's thoughts. The boy began to panic, and Whisper sensed his unease. What is it? What's wrong? Kimmick grabbed Whisper, screaming in his mind. Can't you see? Leaving the shadow entity bewildered. In a frenzy, the boy commanded, Go grab it! And launched Whisper towards the tree. Riley was still loudly protesting. That tree hasn't been savable for the past 70 years. Now you're asking a child who doesn't even understand your words. Suddenly, both Goal and Ray turned back in surprise at an unexpected change. Riley stammered in astonishment. What is this, the divine tree? Lush green foliage began to grow back on the withered branches. The divine tree was fully revived, emitting a brilliant light that made Riley exclaim, It's been revived! Goal was speechless, muttering. That tree couldn't be saved even with healing and purification holy magic. Kimmick wore a smug smile, thinking to himself, Well, it's nothing major. The boy told himself, I just saw a bunch of demonic residue at the roots, so I had it drained. While Whisper let out a satisfied burp, a knight rushed over and asked, Young Master Riali, that tree, what did you do? But Riley could only reply unconsciously, I didn't do anything. The knight's astonished gaze shifted to the baby in real arms. Then, could it be? Kimmick, meanwhile, was secretly lamenting. Sigh, that was mana too. Such a waste. And Whisper cleverly offered, What do you mean? Should I throw it up for you? The knights cheered in amazement. Amazing. Young Master Isaac must have done it. But Goal Asura dismissed it with a scornful smile. Are you all out of your minds? What could a child possibly do? While everyone praised Isaac, Goal insisted. Someone else must have helped. That's right. It must have been Ray. Goal confronted Riley directly. You did something, didn't you? Which made Riley back. What are you talking about? His rage erupted. Goal grabbed his younger brother's collar, roaring. You got the Saint Tessa's power, and now you're acting like that piece of trash did it. Amidst the chaos, Kim Yizak secretly thought about his ancestor Melissa. This family is on the verge of collapse, the boy analyzed. But this eldest brother, why does he look nothing like Melissa? Meanwhile, Riley is like her male version. A thought flashed in Kim Yak's mind. Half-brothers. Wait, he resembles the Pope. Goal relentlessly attacked. Don't hide it anymore. Do you think I don't know you brought him here to make him a saintess candidate? Kimish smirked. Oh, so there's another candidate. Let that fool support whoever he wants. I'll enjoy crushing him, really resolutely defended. So you're telling me to abandon him? He's our nephew, the eldest brother's son. He has the right to inherit this family. Goal sneered maliciously. Eldest brother? He's just a deserter who fled when the family was in danger. As the argument revealed the truth, Kim Isak realized, so this is why I'm treated like a bastard. Goal continued his venomous remarks. I guess that child is still the saint's son, a half-breed brought in from outside. He whispered into Riley's ear, sowing doubt. But are you sure he's his blood? When Goal uttered his final insult, Riley couldn't take it anymore and landed a devastating punch on his brother's face. Kimak watched it all with amusement. That's right, brothers grow up fighting. Thanks to this, I've learned a lot of useful information. While the knights rushed to intervene, the boy had already formulated a plan. It's fortunate this family isn't united. It will be easy for me to devour them all. A wicked smile appeared on the child's face. That cursed woman's house. I will destroy everything. Whisper scoffed, suggesting its master's brain had shrunk in a child's body, and received a shouted, "Shut up!" from Kim Isak. Inside the magnificent Eshwa family mansion, a tense meeting was about to begin. Kimak sat on the table, his face scowling as he faced those he hated. This is really annoying me, the boy thought to himself, veins throbbing on his forehead. The family meeting began with contemptuous whispers, disappointed that the eldest grandson was a useless boy. Gol Ashua angrily insulted the child's mother, claiming that someone of humble origin had no right to be a saint. Amidst the chaotic atmosphere, a powerful female voice rang out, demanding silence from everyone. That woman was Haishwa, the family head's second wife and interim leader, who questioned Ridley. So why did you bring him here? Henna asked, and Kimak realized she was the one who wanted to get rid of him. Gol immediately spoke up in his mother's defense, growling for Riley to answer. Rayleigh ignored him, only coldly asking about the whereabouts of his father, the true family head. Henna sarcastically replied that he had gone out due to the commotion surrounding the saint candidates. What a pity, Ray replied, unable to hide his disappointment. Suddenly, an elderly butler burst in, breathlessly reporting, "Young Master Isaac has revived the divine tree." Gol immediately jumped up, shouting that it was just a coincidence, a result of the family's prayers. An elder in the family also agreed, stating that a child could not have done such an extraordinary feat. Henna smirked, delivering a fatal blow. Most importantly, there's no proof. The priest present also chimed in, calling it a blessing, which only made Kim Yah secretly scoff. You want proof? His small hands reached out, ready to prove everything. Before the sudden display of power, the entire room fell silent in astonishment. Kim Isak unleashed a whirlwind of pure holy power, forcing the skeptics to retreat. An elder exclaimed in horror, This energy, materializing the demonic energy into a crystal," the boy roared in his mind. "It's the divine tree's energy, you bastard." Amidst the pervasive silence, Ria explained, "It seems Isaac has removed the demonic energy gnawing at the divine tree." A priest couldn't believe it. "How can this be? A mere infant handled it," other elders whispered in admission. "That exorcism wasn't simple at all. The tree almost died." Gol Ezue slammed the table, shouting, "Nonsense! Are you saying that chunk of flesh has such power?" Riley boldly declared. Isaac instinctively exorcised the demonic energy, while the boy secretly approved. "That's right, Uncle," he continued his attack. "This child has accomplished what the Eshwa family couldn't in 70 years, Gol roared, turning to the elders. "We cannot believe such an absurd story," he frantically argued. "If this gets out, it will make our family a laughingstock." Gol resorted to insult. "Look at him. I bet he's the son of some beggar." But Kim Yisak merely picked his ear in boredom. Relihua placed his hand on his chest solemnly, declaring, "Elders, this child will one day become a saint." He picked up Kim Yisak, raising his voice. "He might even become the Pope in the future." Overjoyed, Reli lifted his nephew into the air, and one day he will kill the Skeleton King, which made Kim Yak freeze. "I take back what I just said." The name Skeleton King caused a wave of indignation, and Henna smirked maliciously. "You're digging your own grave, Ray." Seizing the opportunity, she challenged, "If you're so sure, let us test the boy." With a malicious glint in her eyes, Henna concluded, "I will request access to the Holy Artifact Vault. In the Black Forest northwest of the Holy Kingdom of Hela, amidst the chaotic battlefield, the head of the Eshua family sheathed his sword after clearing out the monster. He coldly uttered, What a waste of my time. A knight quickly knelt. Greetings, family head. What is it? The knight bowed and reported. The vice family head has requested permission to use the holy artifact vault, Elihua stated firmly. As I said, the Holy See is not permitted to set foot there. She is not asking for the Holy See. Your grandson saved the divine tree, the knight explained. So the vice family head wants to use the vault to determine if the boy is a true saint. The family head paused, his voice full of skepticism. What does that mean? He spun around, roaring furiously. Why is there a saint in my house? Elihua resolutely refused. I do not accept. That place will kill anyone except a saint candidate. Tell them not to cause a meaningless civil war. Suddenly, a powerful voice echoed from behind. Let them. Matriarch Melissa appeared, her eyes sharp. It's Isaac, isn't it? She smiled meaningfully. To have saved even the divine tree. Truly a promising sprout, isn't he? And if the vault is already open, Melissa suggested, why don't we throw all the saint candidates in there too? Which horrified the knight. Madam, the knight worried, but madam, a child from another family could take the greatest holy artifact. I rather hope so, Melissa replied with a mysterious smile. She revealed her true purpose. With that holy artifact, we can even hunt down and destroy the Skeleton King once and for all. Melissa's eyes glinted slightly. In fact, we should reward whoever brings it back, she commanded. Spread the word. The child who brings back the greatest holy artifact will receive a reward that even the Pope cannot bestow. Melissa concluded her promise. Not only will they be granted the saints' family heirloom, I will personally teach them the family's secret techniques. Melissa Eshua gave a calculating smile, declaring, I will give everything to the child who succeeds. The Eshua family's vault, repository of millennia-old holy artifacts and secret techniques, was once again revealed. It was once a place where saints' candidates' birthday rituals were held, their fates determined by the items they brought back. But the price was too high. Countless lives perished, forcing the vault to be sealed permanently. Amidst the silent space, an eerie voice echoed. But I wonder, Whisper teased its master, will you be able to retrieve the treasure and return safely? Which made Kim Yah secretly annoyed at being cut off. But aren't you also very excited? Whisper continued, and Kim Yisa couldn't help but admit it. Joy erupted in the boy's mind. They said the Skeleton King's body is in the vault. A young knight approached, his voice full of excitement. Are you excited, young master? He lifted Kimash up, announcing, the matriarch has opened the vault for all saint candidates. The descendants of all 5 great families will gather. But I'm sure young Master Isaac will win, the knight asserted. Kim Isak smirked, a perfect plan flashing through his mind. The more the merrier. Chaos will be the perfect cover for me. Suddenly, Rihua appeared, holding his nephew upside down and warning, but you must be careful, Isaac. Demons captured in war are guarding the vault, he revealed, shocking the knight. Kim Yisak remained confident. If they were captured, they can only be ranked 6 or below, the boy calculated. Just a little intimidation will do, but Ree poured cold water on that confident. The knight screamed in horror upon hearing about the rank 8 demon and rank 9 dragon, while Ree merely confirmed it nonchalantly. Kim Yisak was utterly speechless, cursing inwardly. The Eshua family is truly insane. Who locks up dragons in a place for infant rituals? Whisper tried to comfort him. With your knowledge of dragons, then abruptly stopped. Kim Yisak trembled, his mind screaming. Damn it! Dragons are dangerous in a completely different way. Memories flooded back. He recalled having once deceived about 70 ferocious dragons. The boy was utterly terrified, worried his soul would be recognized. While Whisper saw it as an opportunity, with no other choice, Kim Yisak decided he had to act immediately. He calculated, the vault has rank 8 demons and a rank 9 dragon, while I can only handle rank 6. A bold plan emerged. Sneak into the family spoils vault and steal all the manors. The target was clear. The magnificent annex of the Eshua family, the solemn door to the repository of knowledge and power, was right before him. Kim Yak, along with Whisper, successfully infiltrated holding an ancient book. Whisper asked worriedly, Master, are you all right? The boy froze, looking at the book titled Holy Arts. 10 ways to disintegrate the Skeleton King with a face as if he were about to be exorcised. Damn it! You should have taught me how to use holy power first, he screamed in silence. The thought of using mind control magic had just flashed when Whisper extinguished it. Do you want to destroy this entire family? Kimash sighed, admitting, I can't grasp it with mere theory. Suddenly, a warm hand lifted him and a voice rang out. You look tired. Raleigh held the child in his arms, assuming he had a tough day, while Kim Yisak only thought of sleep. As Riley carried the boy away, a curious knight picked up the book left on the floor. Raleigh gently placed his hand on Kim Yak's forehead. A simple gesture of concern, but from it, a surge of holy power poured out, enveloping the boy in astonishment. Oh, a holy art from his crib! Kim Yizak excitedly cheered. Amazing! Use a few more attack moves, Uncle. The boy secretly calculated. He couldn't let these two stay here too long. The target was still that building. To get rid of them, he suddenly lay face down, pretending to be fast asleep. Rayleigh and the knight were completely fooled, praising, "What a wonderful child." As both decided to leave, Whisper scoffed at their naivety. But Raleigh unexpectedly ordered, "This totem is dangerous. You keep it," which stunned Kim Yi-suk. He instructed the knight to safely store Isaac's first masterpiece. While the boy silently screamed, despairingly watching his totem being taken away, Kim Yisak realized his mana source had vanished. But he quickly regained his composure, deciding to shift his target to mana cores. The boy began his escape journey from the crib. Despite Whisper grumbling about his snail's pace, "I have a plan, just open the door," Kim Yisak confidently ordered Whisper. Just then, the room door slammed shut, causing the boy to tumble head over heels from the railing. Kim Yak lay sprawled on the floor, realizing his uncle had locked the door with holy magic. He wanted to break the door, but Whisper warned that it would cause a commotion and attract attention. Helpless, Kim-ak could only lightly punch the door. Feeling like he was about to go crazy, he couldn't use magic for fear of making things worse, leaving only brute force. Gathering all his immense strength, he tried to push the door in vain. "How do I get out of here?" Suddenly, the door opened from the outside, causing Kim-ak to lose his balance and fall forward. Before him was an unfamiliar boy with a bandaged hand, looking down in astonishment. A boy looked down disdainfully. Just a child who can't even walk yet. Kim-ak thought to himself, "Is this thing my rival?" While Whisper growled, "How dare it hurt my master?" The boy named Shuri clenched his bandaged hand, unable to believe. There's no way that kid created a totem that even a genius like me couldn't make. In a fleeting memory, Gola Shawa had tested Kim Yisak with a holy light orb. Back in the present, Sri Yeshua declared ambitiously, surrounded by holy power, "I will be the one to become a saint. You dare steal my position?" Shuri yelled, as Kim Yisak clung to his leg, causing a milk bottle to fall. Shuri tripped over the bottle and fell flat on his face while Kim Yisak laughed gleefully, thinking, "You'll escape the cursed Esha family." With a triumphant look, Kim Yisak pointed at the boy lying sprawled. "I found my ride. Do you know who I am?" Shai angrily yelled while Kim Yisak realized. "He looks exactly like that uncle. He must be his son. And I saw you gathering holy power to attack me. You bastard," Kim Yak thought, raising the milk bottle. The boy threw the bottle straight at Shai, growling, "You deserve a beating." Whisper cheered, "Nice throw, master," while Kim Yi imperiously ordered, "You arrogant brat, become my ride." Humiliated, Shuri clutched his head in pain as holy power began to erupt. "You little brat," Shur yelled, erecting a holy light shield to block the incoming bottle. Kim Yak merely watched curiously, hearing Shur's smug voice in his head. "Surprised? I'm the only one at this age who can use level 3 defensive holy magic." With a sinister smile, Shai warned, "Don't be surprised yet." He cast level 3 offensive holy magic, holy light, and a giant magic circle appeared beneath his feet. "Take this." She unleashed 2 beams of light, but Kim Isak merely nonchalantly assessed. "This looks tasty." The boy smiled contentedly, thinking, "Thanks for the meal." Shai froze as he saw his attack blocked by a colossal surge of energy. He screamed in panic. What kind of massive defensive holy magic is this? In stark contrast to that horror, Kim Isak grinned excitedly. The boy thought to himself, "Haha, thanks for the show." Overwhelmed by his own power, Shur cried out, "No way!" Kim Isak pointed at his opponent, uttering a brief provocation. "Wait!" Shur tried to resist in vain. The energy dissipated and Whisper emerged from the shadows behind its master. Whisper anxiously asked about killing, but Kim Yak merely thought nonchalantly. "Killing what?" Realizing he was unharmed, Shur looked bewildered. "Huh?" A surge of embarrassment flared and she snapped. "If you can't hit me, don't scare me like that." While swaggering, he suddenly froze at a menacing voice. "You dare." Shra's eyes widened in horror, cold sweat pouring down. A colossal shadow entity materialized, roaring, "Attack my king!" It grabbed Shri's leg as he tried to flee, growling, "Do you want to die?" Shur completely collapsed, only able to stammer in utter terror. Amidst the scene, Kim Isok gently patted the shadow monster's hand. The boy casually sat on his new minion's shoulder, silently asking, "What are you doing?" With a sinister smile, Kim Isak ordered, "Carry me, you bastard." "My name is Shuri Yeshua." A young yet resolute voice echoed in the night. The boy declared himself destined to be a saint. With clenched fists, Shuri vowed to escape this corrupt family and become the Pope. But then a grand plan suddenly halted because a baby suddenly jumped onto his back, turning him into an unwilling mode of transport. "To the annex!" Kim Yisak yelled, while Shuri could only scream in despair. A shadowy entity appeared, its voice cold as ice. "Keep moving or I'll tear you apart, you lowly human." Trapped between the demonic baby and the terrifying shadow, Shur had no choice. The boy pushed aside his ambitions, sobbing to himself, "Just focus on surviving first." Someone saved me. Under the moonlight, Shur carried Kim Yak across the garden, following the baby's babbling commands. "Left," I said. "Left!" Kim Yak shrieked, pointing the way imperiously. "Do you want to die? Go the right way." The baby snapped, making She break out in a cold sweat. Suddenly, Shuri froze, his feet rooted to the spot. He looked up with a pale face, whispering, "Wait, this place is..." It was the second annex of the Yeshua mansion, a cursed place, also known as the haunted house. Why did this crazy kid drag me here? Shur panicked, recalling the master's warning about this forbidden place. Contrary to Shri's fear, Kim Yizak flashed a sly smile. "Oh my, there must be at least a few thousand here." The old building exuded a dense magical aura, the result of decades of accumulation from resentful spirits. "Let's go, you brat," Kimuch urged, but Shuri firmly shook his head. "No, we can't go in there." The shadowy entity reappeared, its voice crushing all hope of resistance. "Shut up and go, you damn dog." Inside the abandoned annex, a chilling atmosphere enveloped them. Shur's heavy footsteps and sniffles echoed through the dark corridor. "It's even messier inside than I thought," Kim Yak mused, ignoring the horrified expression of the one carrying him. The boy's crimson eyes swept across the space, searching for the source of dark energy. Suddenly, he noticed a large sealed door. "Wait, isn't that?" Whisper appeared and reported, "Master, the entire building has been sealed." "Hey, let's go back," Shai panted, his fear reaching its peak. The plea was met with a painful tug on his hair. "What now?" Shuri yelled as he complained. He suddenly stopped before a row of old portraits. "Former family heads?" Shur whispered, unaware he had stepped into a trap. Kim Yak scoffed. "Among other things, you're aiming for the family head position, too." "Don't even dream about it," the boy declared. "That position will be mine." With that, he slammed his milk bottle directly into a portrait, shattering the magical barrier. Sure, he was stunned, his eyes wide at the unbelievable sight. "Ancestral paintings," he wailed in despair as he was thrown far away. Kim Yisok merely thought nonchalantly. Then, "Don't put a barrier on the paintings in the first place." "The barrier has been broken, Master," Whisper confirmed, and Kim Yisok cheered. "I did it without giving Shai time to recover." The boy urged him into the newly opened passage. "You psycho, don't just break things and run." She yelled as he was dragged toward the darkness. Kim Yusok only responded with excited babbling, rushing straight into the secret passage. Kim Isak cheered upon discovering a secret room filled with magical energy. "Whisper, close the door." The boy ordered his invisible subordinate, determined to monopolize the place. Shriya desperately rushed forward, yelling, "Hey, wait! What are you going to do now?" With a smirk, Kim Yisak retorted, "A kid like you doesn't need to know," before the door slammed shut. Inside, the boy calmly sat down, preparing for the important ritual. "It's time to begin." A surge of blue magical energy began to swirl around his body. Outside, Shai frantically pounded on the door. "Hey, come out now or I'll tell on you." The boy continued to threaten helplessly. "I'll tell the adults to kick you out." Suddenly, a cold voice echoed from behind. Sure, making the boy freeze. An authoritative white-haired man appeared, lifting Shuri into the air and questioning, "Why are you here?" Shur quickly tried to confess, but an old woman roared, cutting him off. "What is this, she? We forbade entry to the annex." At the old woman's accusation, Shuri could only ask blankly, "Huh?" The accusation continued based on many people having seen Shuri carrying Isaac here. Shuri stammered his defense, But his confession of using holy magic and carrying Isaac only deepened the suspicion. The white-haired man said disappointedly, "Shy, this time you've gone too far by tormenting a baby." He grabbed Shuri's shoulder, pressing, "Tell me, where did you lock Isaac up?" But Shai could only scream in denial. Just as Shuri was about to say that Isaac locked himself in, loud, violent noises suddenly erupted from behind the door. The white-haired man immediately rushed over, calling anxiously, "Isaac, are you in there?" He pressed his ear to the door, his face tense as he listened to the sound coming from within. In the darkness, the play began. Kim Sok's mournful sobs echoing pitifully. The elderly lady rushed over, accusing Shuri. "Are you all right, Isaac? Oh dear, look how scared he is." The white-haired man picked up the victim child, remarking, "I'm glad the boy is safe. He's in shock but seems unharmed." He looked down at the child in his arms, his expression relieved yet thoughtful. Turning to Shuri, he sternly admonished, "You should be ashamed of yourself," making the boy stammer in protest. "But it wasn't me. I swear it was really him." As he was carried away, Kim Yak secretly smirked a sarcastic thank you towards the stunned Shuri. His innocent expression vanished, replaced by a sinister smile as the boy thought to himself, "Thanks for the meal." Shuri clutched his head in agony, while the adults standing nearby were oblivious, wondering why is the boy suddenly showing signs of elevated blood pressure. Safe in the adult's arms, Kim Yak secretly assessed his spoils. "I've acquired a century's worth of mana in one go." The concentrated energy glowed in his small hand as he continued to ponder. "Yes, with this amount of mana I can use that plan," he resolved, his sinister expression mistaken by the man as a lingering effect of shock. The scene shifted to a magnificent, splendid mansion bathed in sunlight, opening a new chapter. Now Kimak sat calmly beside a book, looking up as Ree's voice rang out. "Isaac, I have someone I'd like to introduce to you." Relihua appeared with a young woman in uniform introducing, "This is Ashley. From now on, she will take care of you." The woman stepped forward solemnly introducing herself, Eshua's holy knight Ashley Lark. She knelt on one knee before the infant, solemnly vowing, "I shall serve you until my last breath." Young Master Isaac Kimmick's eyes narrowed suspiciously, wondering, did they send someone to monitor me because of that incident? He let out a babbling cry to get his new caretaker's attention. "Hey, you!" Then the boy suddenly erupted in a tantrum, raising his hand and shouting loudly, "I don't need you! Get lost!" A terrifying dark aura emanated from the child, freezing both Ashley and Reilly in astonishment. While Ashley frantically called for her superior, Kim Isak merely glared at Reilly with a challenging gaze. Amidst the new maid's exclamations, Kimak only felt annoyed. Why does this family have so many crazy people? Reilly smiled, calling the boy's name. "And Isaac, this is my gift," the man said, opening a box containing a simple ring. Kim Yizak secretly scoffed, thinking that the Eshua family had fallen so low as to use a cheap item as a birthday gift. Suddenly, Ashley Larch cried out in astonishment. "Oh my! Is this the Holy Maiden's treasure?" Relai patted the child's head, confirming that he had received it from the elders to give to him. Kimmy Sock's eyes flashed red, and he realized, "Oh, so it's the real deal." Past life memories flooded back. It was the elder's ring that the Holy Maidens had used against him. In his small hand, the ancient holy artifact began to emit a warm glow. Kim Isak smirked to himself. "Currently, it can only be used once or twice, but I have a way to fix it." And then he sensed another presence approaching. A man stood with his arms crossed from a distance, gritting his teeth with eyes burning with hatred. Kim Yak glanced over, thinking to himself, that thuggish look on his face shows it's real. Reilly cheerfully turned to greet him. "Aha! My nephew Isaac." That man, Gola Shawa, immediately changed his demeanor, flashing a dazzling yet terrifying smile. "You're always so adorable every time I see you." He leaned down and whispered into the child's ear, making Kim Yak flinch in disgust. The boy could only scream in silent protest at Gaul's madness, feeling that things were getting bizarre. It turned out Gaul had secretly sabotaged the blessing device and was now seething with rage, seeing the treasure fall into Isaac's hands again. In a previous meeting, Relly had explained that this was a way to ensure fairness, astonishing the elderly lady. Gaul had desperately pleaded, "Please let my son have it too," but it seemed unsuccessful. In a flashback, a noble lady coldly dismissed Gaul's plea. "Shuri has already received the blessing. Don't be greedy." Gaul gnashed his teeth, resentful that his plan to seize the treasure had been ruined by a child. Back in the present, Gol approached Raleigh with a fake smile, criticizing his gift as trash before finding offense. He turned to Kimak with a cunning smile. My dear Isaac, how can you accept such a useless item? Gol opened a box revealing a magnificent ring, boasting this is an item that has received countless blessings from the Holy See. Raleigh froze upon hearing Gol's sarcastic remarks, who was deliberately trying to undermine him in front of the child. Seeing Kim Yisak reach out, Gol triumphantly exclaimed, believing he had won. But instead, a resounding slap landed squarely on Gol's face, accompanied by the child's cruel thought. Get lost! Kim Yisak snatched the box with a disgusted expression, secretly cursing the filthy thing, reeking of the Pope. The boy swung his arm and mercilessly threw the expensive gift away, disregarding Gol, who was stumbling backward. The ring flew high into the air, then sank into the fountain amidst Gol's desperate scream. Raleigh was stunned, speechless, unable to believe that the ring, 1,000 times more precious, had been discarded, while Kim Yachok stood beside him, full of self-satisfaction. However, the boy happily held up the simple ring that Ree had given him, leaving him bewildered. Raleigh burst into happiness, emotionally, calling out the name of his precious nephew, who had just chosen him. While Raleigh and his knight cheered for Kim Yisang, Gol's subordinates frantically fumbled in the cold water. Kim Yak secretly gloated because he himself had used magic to make the ring heavy and was praised endlessly by the shadow guards. He ordered his loyal subordinate, go retrieve it tonight, and received reluctant obedience. Looking at the miserable group, Kim Isik had already planned to sell that valuable item for profit. While Gol collapsed in despair, rage flared up. Gol clenched his fists, hating the damn brat who had humiliated him. In his office, he collapsed onto his desk in a frenzy, screaming about the enormous asset that had just been thrown into the water. Gol Eshwa reassured himself, sneering, all right, fine. It's not like he can use that Eller's ring properly anyway. A knight reported that the item could only be activated after absorbing the divine power of 20 people. With a sinister smile, Gol calculated, let's see, probably only about 10 people will come to his first birthday, right? The next day at the Yeshua mansion, the first birthday party officially began. Carriages and crowds of nobles bustled in, a sight far exceeding all expectations. Ashley Larch happily reported, it's incredible, young master. There are 148 saint candidates and 4,000 nobles and their servants. She continued to list the presence of dukes, marquises, and even the emperor. But Kim Yisak only looked annoyed. The boy cursed inwardly. Are the gods so lazy that they're scattering saints everywhere like this? It must be. Raleigh was also astonished. What a surprise! I thought everyone would consider this a trap and not come. Suddenly, a cheerful voice rang out from behind. There's no way they'd think that, my friend. Count Simon Regis, head of a large merchant guild, appeared and enthusiastically greeted his old friend. Relied. And Simon explained, of course I have to be here. Every family in the empire is buzzing about this. He burst out laughing. Everyone heard that the weaklings of the Eshwa family were attending, so they all came thinking it couldn't possibly be a trap. Simon continued, what's more, the lady of the Eshwa family offered a prize, so how could they not come? Kim Yisak looked up curiously, wondering what the prize was. When Reese suspected that even the papal family would come, Simon sneered disdainfully at the arrogant Barrett family. Raleigh tried to stop his friend from speaking loudly, but Simon still boisterously announced that his son was also a saint candidate. That's why you should watch your mouth, Rai whispered sternly as he gripped the doorknob as he opened the door. Raleigh inwardly sighed about his rude friend, while Simon continued to prat on behind him. It seems ancient proverbs are never wrong. A voice echoed from the doorway. Raleigh gasped in shock. Cardinal Barrett, the cardinal replied with a sinister smile. Not bothering to hide his intentions, he thought to himself. The weakling from the Ashawa family is holding a birthday. I hope he can salvage some dignity from the treasure vault. I was curious to see the face of the Eshwa family's saint candidate, but I couldn't find him anywhere. His gaze stopped on the child Ashley was holding. Well, what a godsend. He placed a hand on his chest, raising his voice in a false tone. I pray the Eshua's saint candidate will bring glory to the family. A bad premonition struck Raleigh, making him break out in a cold sweat. Could it be? We've fallen into the Holy See's trap, he suddenly realized. The number of saint candidates suddenly surged to 148 in the past week. The Holy See must have let all the unqualified ones through. If that rabble gets into the treasure vault, They'll tear apart the weakest opponent to seize an opportunity. They might exploit that chaos to execute an even more insidious plan. That means Ree concluded in horror in his mind. Isaac is in danger. It was said that the sons born into the Eshwa family, apart from their outstanding appearance and family reputation, were utterly useless. But for those who coveted superior bloodlines, or those who wished to curry favor with the church that hated the St. Tessa's family, an Eshwa child was a prime target. An order was given in the shadows. Then let's play around a bit with that brat. No need to kill him, just make him unable to do anything. The order was relayed. Mix a drug into the boy's water using a type of holy poison. The goal was to show the child the harsh truth of this world, to turn him into a laughingstock in front of everyone, to the horror of the other saint candidates, and to show the whole world that an Eshwa child could never become a saint. But Kim Yak gulped down the poisoned water with a satisfied expression. Wow, this stuff is amazing. The other candidates were stunned. A boy tremblingly asked, "How many bottles has he drunk already?" Kaimash inwardly screamed with delight, "Bring more! This little bit of poison won't kill me," as he threw the empty bottle at Shuryashawa. Amidst the children crying in fear, the boy kept demanding more, turning the party into a nightmare. The conspirators began to panic. "What's going on? He should be having diarrhea. Did we use the wrong bottle?" Shrihua covered his face in shame, unable to believe his eyes. Why does he keep drinking the drugged water? Bearing the family's honor, Shur stepped forward, telling himself that a saint candidate couldn't possibly fail to recognize drugged water. He kicked the bottle out of Kim Yak's hand, shouting, "Stop drinking! Are you possessed?" In response, Kim Yisak held out another bottle of water, completely clean. Shuri brushed it aside, unaware that Kim Yisak was thinking contemptuously. "There's no poison in this one!" The boy clung to Shur's leg, wailing to get the poisoned water back, terrifying those around them. A blond boy frantically confessed, "Mine was holy poison," making a girl next to him exclaim in horror, "Are you crazy? He'll die if he drinks that." Hearing holy poison, Kim Yisak's eyes flashed. He floated into the air and roared, "Give it to me!" Before the dark demonic energy emanating from the boy, the other children could only discuss in astonishment. Has he really reached the realm of self-defecation? Amidst the bewildered saint candidates, Shuri Eshwa wondered, what the hell are they talking about? The boy flinched as a strange voice rang out. A white-haired youth appeared, making others mistakenly believe that Kim Yizak was sacrificing himself. Shrihua exclaimed in horror, "Kina Barit, why is he here?" It was Kina Barrett, the direct descendant of the pontiff's house, an uninvited guest. The other candidates began to whisper, "Why is the pontiff's house in the saint's treasure vault?" Meanwhile, Kim Yusa calmly drank the bottle of poison, thinking, "Damn it, so he's going to win." Everyone was discussing that Kina was the chosen one, even though his hair color was completely different from the Barrett family tradition. Memories of previous pontiffs with messy brown hair flashed through their minds. Kina sneered. "It's not strange for the pontiff's house to be in the saint's treasure vault," he arrogantly declared. "The saint's treasure vault is the property of the pontiffs. So I'm here to take what's rightfully mine," Kina said, then turned and walked away, leaving the crowd stunned. Kim Isak merely smiled meaningfully. "Indeed, he's from the pontiff's house." Suddenly, a brilliant golden holy power erupted from Kina, a strength that surpassed even bishops. "I guess that's why he's Saint Candidate Zero," Kim Isak muttered, despising those who were trying to embarrass the host. Kina turned back and scolded. "You people are truly substandard. What do you gain by terrorizing a small child?" He stepped forward thinking that there was no way a child could control toxin immunity. Kneeling before Kim Yisak, Kina thought, they must be genetically stupid throughout the whole family. Then he smiled kindly, summoning holy power. "Poor child, it's all right. I will heal you." While the other candidates whispered about Kina's power, Kim Yisak merely observed indifferently, "Oh, look at this." Kina Barrett smugly enveloped the boy in holy power, thinking, "He's clever." But suddenly, Kim Yusak blew a puff of air directly into Ken's face. The golden holy power suddenly vanished, leaving Sharia and the others speechless. "It's gone!" Kenabarit was stunned. Unable to believe his eye, he stared in shock at the grinning child. Realizing that it was the child who had broken his holy power, a terrifying thought flashed through Kina's mind. Could it be stronger than me? Amidst the tense atmosphere, Shrihua rushed to Kim Yisak's side. Kina Barrett roared in anger upon seeing the Eshwa family member dare to shield his target. Kim Yisak was equally defiant, clutching the bottle in his hand, his eyes full of challenge. "How dare you look at me like that?" Immediately, Kina grabbed Shur's collar, lifting him up to everyone's astonishment. He looked down at both of them with contempt, wondering if the Eshwa family knew who they were confronting. "You think you can protect him?" Kina scoffed. "If it weren't for me, you would have been hit in the head with that bottle." Then he let go, feigning benevolence. "It's all right." He was just startled. "He's still just a child." With that, Kina turned his back and waved sarcastically. "Well, good luck, you Ashawa kids." He continued to hurl insults while Shriya struggled to hold on to a growling Kim Yach. "Anyway," Kanina smugly declared, "the greatest treasure is mine. The Eshwa family will never get their hands on the Skeleton King's remains," he asserted, then suddenly froze. Shuri Ashua could only frown in annoyance. "What an unpleasant fellow!" Shuri Ashua grabbed Kim Yisak, desperately yelling, "What about the Skeleton King's body?" "Why are you doing this?" the boy sobbed.